Close your eyes for a moment, not to sleep, but to listen. Feel your breath move in and out like a quiet tide. Imagine a soft light at the edge of the room, not harsh, but steady, like the first light before dawn. That light is an angel. It does not come with thunder or big signs. It comes with a small, sure touch, the kind that sits gently on your shoulder and says, "I see you. I will walk with you." The angel has a gentle habit. It watches people who want things that are hard. It watches the person who wants to pick up a pen and finally write the truth they keep hiding. It watches the person who wants to speak but fears the voice inside their throat. It watches the person who wants to get up earlier, run farther, learn a new skill, or simply keep a promise to themselves. The angel knows something simple and true. The heart wants big things, but the brain likes small paths. If you want the heart and the brain to walk together, you must teach the brain what to do, step by step, again and again. There was once a person named Mira. Mira was not different from many souls you have met. She woke with a list of things that mattered and closed her eyes, thinking she would do them someday. She loved books. She loved the warm smell of coffee and the quiet that lives between 2 a.m. and sunrise. She wanted to write a story that would carry someone out of a dark place. She wanted to be the person who kept promises to herself. But every morning, the list seemed taller and the first step seemed heavier. Her brain had learned comfort. It had learned ways to keep her still. Mira felt tired of being tired. She felt lonely in her wanting. She thought she was weak because she could not make herself begin. One night, while she lay awake, thinking of all the ways to delay, a small light came and sat near her bed. The light was an angel. The angel did not give a long speech. It came quietly and said, "Let me tell you how to teach your brain to do hard things." Mira listened because she needed someone to speak in small words, because big words made her feel small. The angel told her a story that was itself a path. It said, "Think of the mountain you face. That mountain looks enormous because you see it all at once. The brain panics when it looks at everything at once. So do not let it. Let us pick one small path first. Pick one thing, not 10. A single thing that matters most. Say it out loud. Make it a clear, small sentence. I will write for 5 minutes, or I will walk for 10 minutes. Make it simple." The brain listens to simple instructions. Mira chose one thing. She wanted to write, but write a book felt like a trap. She said, "I will write one line." She felt embarrassed at how small that sounded. The angel smiled in a way that made the air feel softer. "Small is the place where trust begins," it said. The brain learns by practicing small promises. When you keep a small promise to yourself, your brain feels trusted. It will begin to agree to more. The first day, Mira sat down. She could not think of a single line. Her hands trembled. She remembered old voices. "You are not ready. You are wasting time." Doubt was loud, but the angel stayed with her like a warm hand. "Promise 5 minutes," it whispered. "Set a time that is small and known. Your body will accept 5 minutes because it is not a forever. It is a bargain." Mira set her phone timer for 5 minutes and put it on the table. She told herself she would write one line. When the timer clicked, her heart wanted to stop. Her mind buzzed with excuses. She breathed and began to write one line. The house remembered her name. The words were small. They felt like a pebble dropped into a calm pond. A small ripple moved her. When the 5 minutes ended, she felt a faint, honest victory. She had kept a promise. The angel did not take credit. It taught her another gentle rule through story. It showed her a person who chose a ritual before work, a small thing that told the body this moment was for beginning. For Mira, it was making a cup of tea and lighting a tiny candle. The candle did not need to be holy or fancy. It was a signal. The brain reads signals easily. When the candle was lit, the body knew this was the time for writing. When she put on the same sweater she wore for quiet things, her hands felt steadier. Rituals are not chains. They are small paths that say, this is the place for doing it. You can invent your own. It could be putting on running shoes, folding a clean towel for practice, or opening a blank page and saving it under a name that invites you in. Ritual gives the brain a map. The angel also taught Mira to listen to pain without letting pain rule her. When she tried to write, fear came as a heavy blanket. The chest tightened. The hands found every way to stop. The angel told her that this tightness was not a verdict. It was a message from an old part of the brain trying to keep her safe. Ask it a question, the angel said. Ask what it is trying to protect you from. Mira learned to whisper to the tightness, I hear you. I am not leaving. I will begin anyway. Naming the fear and speaking kindly to it calmed the body. The brain learned that the imagined danger was not real, or at least not as big as it thought. Little by little, the chest loosened, and the hands found the pen again. There were days Mira failed. There were days when 5 minutes felt like climbing a cliff. She would skip and then feel heavier for skipping. The angel never scolded. It taught her to be kind to herself, to speak as she would to a child who tried and fell. You tried, the angel would say. Try again tomorrow. This gentle voice mattered. Mira realized that words she spoke to herself changed how her brain heard failure. If she called herself lazy or weak, the brain would take that story as truth and follow suit. If she said, I tried, I will try again, the brain learned that trying was safe and worth repeating. The angel showed Mira another truth by taking her to a wide field in the mind where small victories grew like wildflowers when given water. It showed her someone who celebrated the smallest things, one sentence written, one step taken outside, 1 minute of steady breath. The person did not wait to celebrate a huge success. They clapped for the small things as if each were a star. The brain loves reward. It changes its paths when it learns that small work brings a kind of reward, even if that reward is only a warm sense of rightness inside the chest. Mira began to celebrate. She made a small mark on a paper chain each day she wrote. The paper chain grew. The sight of it made her want to add one more day. The angel spoke of another secret that many find hard. Remove friction. The angel said, do not test your willpower like a warrior testing armor. Make the start easy. If you want to run in the morning, put your shoes beside the bed. If you want to write, open a document the night before and name it Start. If you need to practice the piano, leave the bench out and the music on the stand. These small acts remove 1,000 tiny excuses. The brain is lazy, not because it is weak, but because it is efficient. It seeks the path of least trouble. Make the path of least trouble the one that leads to the work you want to do. ... Mira began to arrange small traps for her old habits. She put her phone in another room while writing. She closed tabs that were bright and loud. She wrote a note on the mirror that read, 5 minutes. The note greeted her when she brushed her teeth, and it worked like a gentle nudge. After a while, the brain grew used to the nudges and began to accept them. The work did not come easy, but it came easier. Patterns formed slowly, like rain making a small stream into a river. Sometimes the angel asked Mira to invite other people into her promise. She felt shy at first. She thought, if I tell someone, they will know if I fail. But the angel said, accountability is a kind friend. When we hold a promise together, your brain hears more than your own voice. Mira told a friend about her 5-minute line. The friend sent a small message each morning. Did you write today? The message was not a threat. It was a soft hand. On days when Mira wanted to skip, the friend's text pulled her back. The brain felt the weight of another's quiet belief and often agreed to show up. The angel also taught Mira to let the why be warm and true. If you know why you want to do a hard thing, the work will feel more like a call than a chore. Mira pictured someone who read her words and sighed in relief because they felt understood. She pictured a child who found hope in her pages. Her why was tender and powerful. When she focused on that warm why, her steps felt steadier. The brain loves meaning. It will work harder for what feels important in the heart. There were nights of doubt so strong, Mira felt like crawling back into old habits forever. She gave herself permission to pause and to grieve the losses she had with ease. The angel stood near and taught her a new way to look at falling. Falling was not final. It was part of learning. You are teaching a muscle, the angel would say. Muscles need falling to learn how to lift. When Mira fell, she learned to study the fall. Why had she stopped? Was sleep missing? Had she tried to do too much all at once? She learned to adjust, not with judgment, but with curiosity. The brain learns from gentle correction. If you shove a child to the ground and shout, they will fear hands. If you lift them softly and show how to place their feet, they will try again. The angel walked with Mira for months. Each day was not a heroic story. Most days were small and quiet. They were a cup of tea, 5 minutes, a note, a text, a small cheer, a breath. The mountain did not melt, but it changed shape. Paths appeared. The brain began to expect the small work. What had been a struggle at first felt less like a fight and more like a practice. A muscle in her chest grew. Not the kind of muscle that makes the body look different, but the kind that makes the self stand straighter in a room. Mira felt an inside courage that did not scream. It simply whispered, "Begin." One afternoon, she sat in a park with a notebook and watched people pass. A man walked by who held a child's hand. A woman jogged past with a steady breath. A teenager was learning to ride a bike and fell twice, but each time got up. Mira thought of all the small attempts in the world and felt connected to them. Her heart softened. She was not alone in her stumbles. She was part of a large, patient crowd of people, teaching their brains new languages. The angel spoke to her about momentum. It said, "Momentum is not magic. It is the sum of small decisions made again and again." When Mira kept her 5 minutes most days, the brain started to store those days like coins in a jar. On a day when she felt heavy, she could look at the jar and remember the weight she had already carried. This memory mattered. The brain uses memory as a map. When it remembers past small wins, it is more likely to say yes to the next small step. Momentum moves slowly at first. It looks small, but given time, it becomes a force. Mira learned to hold compassion for her past. She had days of regret for the time she had not started, for the things she had let go. The angel asked her to look at regret like rain on a roof. It can be cold and sharp, but it also waters the ground. Regret can teach without dragging you backward. She turned regret into fuel, not a chain. She forgave the days she failed and promised to show up again. She used her own voice as the angel's voice, quiet, kind, and clear. "You tried," she would say. "Try again." The work changed her, not in sudden, dramatic ways, but in slow, sure ones. Her sentences grew longer, then whole paragraphs. Her 5 minutes became 10, and then 20. She still had days she wanted to hide. She still had nights when the mountain looked tall. But now she had a pattern to call on, like a friend who knows the way home. The brain had learned a new habit. It found it easier to begin than to avoid. The angel sat near, but did not lift the pen for her. That was important. The angel teaches, it does not do. Mira carried the work herself, but she did not carry it alone. One day, she received a message from someone who had read an early piece of her writing. The person wrote, "Your words reached me when I was about to give up." Mira cried. The tears were not of surprise, but of deep, slow gratitude. She felt the truth of why she had kept going on small, daily steps. Her small acts had become a bridge for another person. The brain remembered that feeling. It linked the small, daily work with a warm, real reward. The work had meaning, and meaning gave it wings. The angel taught Mira about limits. It did not ask her to be inhuman or to push until she broke. It taught that forcing is not the same as being gentle with a firm will. The angel's push is soft and steady. It says, do the hard with love, keep the promise, be kind to the parts that ache. Sometimes Mira would give herself a full day of rest and still feel she had been working. Rest was part of the plan. The brain needs sleep and quiet to build the new paths. Rest is not failure. It helps the muscle heal. She learned to reshape big dreams into small, steady promises. Instead of saying, I will finish a novel in a month, she learned to say, I will write for 5 minutes. Instead of, I will become fit, she said, I will move my body for 10 minutes today. These small promises did not make the heart smaller. They carried the heart safely across the day. The brain liked them because they were clear and reachable. The heart liked them because they moved toward meaning. Mira also learned to guard her mind from loud voices that shouted quick solutions. The world loves fast change, but the angel knew that deep change is slow. Quick fixes fade. Long journeys last. The angel whispered, teach your brain gently, again and again. One small step tomorrow will be ready to find you because you taught it today. This rhythm, small step, rest, small step, was simple. It was honest. As months folded into a year, Mira looked back and saw the slow lines of change. The path was not straight. There were detours and rains and long stretches of nothing that felt like nothing. But the field of small victories was there, and it had grown. Her brain had been retaught. It now reached more easily for action, and action gave it new stories to hold. Mira's life did not become perfect, but it became more true to what she wanted. The angel's final teaching was the quietest. It leaned close and said, if you want your brain to do hard things, ask it to do what matters a little at a time. Teach it with kindness. Keep the promises that are small. Remove the excuses that are needless. Celebrate the tiny wins. Let fear be a friend you answer kindly and move forward anyway. Invite others. Make the why warm. Rest when the body needs it. Remember that this is training, not punishment. Be tender with yourself. Be steady in your choices. That is how courage is built. Mira thought of the mountain and no longer felt the same fear. She felt respect amid the climb. She knew the angel was not asking for miracles. It only wanted her to be a little braver every day. She learned to carry the angel's voice in her own chest. When morning came and the list seemed tall, she breathed and said, 5 minutes. And she began. Sometimes it will be hard for you. There will be mornings when your bed feels warm and the world calls for delay. There will be evenings of exhaustion when the mind makes excuses and the old songs of doubt grow loud. In those times, remember the small light that sits at the edge of your room. Remember that the language of the brain is small words and steady repetition. Remember to pick one thing and make it tiny. Promise nothing grand at first. Promise 5 minutes, or one line, or a single step. Do it like lighting a match that will not solve the darkness by itself, but will show where to place the next match. Keep placing small matches. The path will appear. You will fear being weak if you fail. Do not believe that voice. Failure is the map of the teacher. It shows where the path needs repair. Use kindness to study it. Adjust what you ask for. Make the start easier. Ask for help. Tell a friend. Make a ritual. Put the shoes by the bed. Save the document as start and leave the cursor blinking. Celebrate when you meet your small promise. Do not wait for big applause. Clap for yourself. Each clap rewires the mind to expect reward. When your chest tightens, speak gently to it. Ask what it is protecting you from, and answer kindly. Fear often pretends to be wisdom, but it is usually habit. Teach it that you are safe in small steps. Reward yourselves quietly. Let rest be part of the plan. Protect your nights and your pauses. Muscle and will both need time to grow. Teach your brain the language of ritual and ease. Remove friction from the start. Move things closer to you. Make the path of least resistance the path toward the work you love. Invite someone to hold a small promise with you. Let them be the soft memory of belief on hard days. Hold the why close. If your why is kind and full of meaning, your brain will follow with more ease. This is not a story about becoming perfect. It is a story about being brave in small ways. It is about a person who made a tiny promise and kept it again and again. It is about an angel who knew that the soft touch is stronger than the shout. It is about a brain that learned to climb by learning one small step at a time. If you want to force your brain to do hard things, force it with love and design, with rituals and small promises, with removal of friction and celebration of small wins, with kindness when you fall, and with the steady company of someone or something that believes you can. Teach your brain one small thing today, then another tomorrow. Do not rush. Be patient. Be firm. Be tender. Now, if you're willing, pick one small promise. Say it out loud. Promise 5 minutes or one step. Do it now. Light a candle or set your timer. Take that small step and then gently celebrate. Remember that the angel who taught Mira sits near you now, not to do the work for you, but to remind you that you can. Keep beginning, keep choosing, keep building a life where your brain recognizes the path of meaning and walks it, one small trust at a time. You will be surprised how strong you become when you teach your brain with love.